I'm looking forward to your talk because I always see how much love you pour into the slides you create. I cannot really call them slides because it's always a show you put up here. So I'm really looking forward to the talk by Jon Uhlmann. Your browser is a superhero. Please welcome on stage, Jon.
So, good morning. Do you hear me? Great. So, yes, look if everything is working. Moment. It's awake. Yes. Your browser is your superhero. You know that. I mean, I started with Internet Explorer 4 or 3, I think, back in the days, and it was an experience, but an awful one. But in the last few years, the browser really evolved in what they're capable of, what they can do, what you can do with the browser. And important is this talk is not an anti-framework talk, but I think I can show you where we can throw away some things, and the benefit you will also see. So first thing first, stop shipping JavaScript. Not all of it, but for these things who are not that complex. For these things who are better approaches there out. So let's start with a story. A few weeks ago, I needed a modal. I think everybody knows what a modal is. It's just you click and something open up. Yeah, and so I opened NTM, looked at it, and I found a library. 12 dependencies, 30 kilobytes. Accessibility, maybe. Bugs, probably. So I deleted it again. And I just replaced it with the browser. Let me show this to you. This is a live demo. You see here the mouse. Here I have a button. It's called Open Dialog. And it's open. Wow, magic. You never saw this before. Perhaps you never saw this before because there was no JavaScript, not a line of JavaScript involved to doing this. Not a single line. Not even a modal, show modal function, nothing. It has 0 dependencies. 0. Ships with 0 kilobyte. Focus trap. Close with escape. Accessibility. All you need and all you should do already included. I mean, it's awesome for 0 kilobytes, right? And this is how it's done. On the left side, you see some markup. You see that command show modal and the command 4, which is the target. And below you see the dialog, who is the target. And there's also a close button where you can close it again. And on the right side, you have just some JavaScript to make it animation. Also some new things like starting style. If you don't know what this is, you can talk later to me. Or what I really like is this one here. Transition behavior, allow discrete. Does somebody know what this is? Because this is freaking awesome, really. This is just amazing. Do you know what this is? 1, 2, yes, perhaps. Did you once tried to animate a display none to display block or display flex? It didn't work, right? It just pops out and it's here back again. But it's no fading, no scaling, no nothing. Well, this little thing here allow this now. You can drop this in your code base, and it just works. And with this one, you can also animate heights from 0 pixel to auto pixel. No hacky measurements with JavaScript or min height, max height, all this kind of stuff. It just works. And it's really, really, really nice, saving you a lot of time, a lot of code, a lot of nerves, a lot of testing. Because it's just integrated. So next one, popover API. Does anybody use this already? Notice what this is? Nobody? That's just, I mean, basically it's just a drop-down menu. You can press here. I think it's the placing in this browser, in this because of the mirroring. But you can just open and close. And everything is also working with escape, accessibility, focus traps, all this kind of stuff. Everything is built in. And this is how it's done. You have a button, for example, say pop over target. It's the menu, that's the ID of the menu. I mean, that doesn't have to be the tag menu, but I thought it would be nice because it is a menu, so you can tag it correctly. And then you have this here, this popover attribute, and that's the whole magic. And with this here, you can anchor it to the target, but to this I will come to later, to a few minutes. Now it gets really awesome. Anchor positioning. Do you know the library floating UI? Or some React libraries, or Vue, or Svelte, or whatever. There's so many libraries who just managing how to a window where it's floating. It working with get bounding client rect, and one famous it's popper.js. And the thing is, now it's included. Your CSS knows what to do. You just know, oh, I have enough space for upwards. Oh, I have to put it downwards. You see? I mean, this is live. This is not a... It's just working. All this tooltip library, obsolete. And here you see the basic mechanics, because below that you have the button. It gets an anchor name. And here you set the tooltip, where the position anchor, and that's how you do it. In this example, I have also an arrow where follow. That's because there is the tooltip have also an anchor. But later, you can have access to all the slides, to all the codes. You can try it for yourself. So, and this is how it all works. And then you have some calculation for how it should look. But like that, you can really just throw away your library for tooltips, for example. And it makes everything so much easier. So, you have native UI primitives in your browser. Modal, drop-down, positioning. You don't no longer need a package for that. You have the dialog with focus, escape, backdrop. You have the popover with open state and dismiss. And you have this anchor function. Yes, CSS can have functions where you can positionate things without all the math, without the JavaScript. So you can put all these mechanics to the platform. And the big benefit is it is fast, because CSS now is an engine. For example, I don't know if you know container queries, but since years we're talking about responsive design, and it's important, and yes, it is important, but it doesn't work. Because if you have a component, I mean, I don't know if this component is perhaps in a grid or in a flex box where it can have almost any size because of the brothers and sisters around it. And perhaps it's full screen, perhaps it's on your TV, perhaps it's on your watch. So a breakpoint doesn't work in that case. So we have container queries where it depends on the size of the parent. It can change the layout. This is awesome. It saves you so much time, especially in the context of a CMS. And that's all what you need. For example, teaser, you say container type, inline size. You can also give a name to it. And then you can target it at container, a query, and just changing the designs. So what does this do? If you have a responsive page, the page is responsible for all this stuff. But if you have responsive components, the component itself is aware of everything. So page-based, you have global breakpoints, you have layout assumptions, and you have this fragile CMS components, because you always have to say, and now you are in this grid, yeah, now you are there, and this breakpoint, and it's a lot of work. But if you can work component-based, you have the local breakpoints, it's self-adapting, and you have much less coupling, it's just working. And it's such a time saver, really. The components do not need any context anymore. Because components do not know where they will be used. I mean, when I create a component, I don't know where the editor is going to put it. I just don't know. And the good thing is, now they don't have to. It's not a problem anymore. So, next thing. I think some of you were on my talk 2 years ago about the theming in Neos, and where I split all the colors in 3 variables to have these calculations ready. Since that, a lot of things happen, the browser involved, and we have some really nice color mix functions now where you just can use. So, for example, we have here 3 colors, yes, right? So I can pick a new one, bam. I have the base, intense, and soft. I want to have another one, yellow. Let's go green. And you see also the font is changing, the color of the font is changing. Everything is possible now. And it's really, really nice. And it's really easy. That's all. You have here the color definition. I mean, this could also be a hex color, what you want. I really love the OKLTH colors space. It's awesome. And then I say here, okay, from this color, please do that. Luminance minus .012 CH, just leave it. Or the soft one, make it a little bit lighter, and everything a little softer, and it's really nice. Just can do some crazy calculations. And there's a lot of more stuff more possible. I mean, I could talk I think for 5 hours, I could just talk and show you all these kinds of examples, what is possible now. But I just want to break your door a bit open and say, hey, open your mind, open your brain a bit, just to stop using all the time libraries. I mean, use libraries, but for really what they are done for the complex stuff, but for this stuff, no need anymore. So, your to-do for today is ship less JavaScript. And this is also the state machine in JavaScript. You can say it's this has, where it can have, if this section has an input who is checked, make it a little bit smaller. If the label has an input who is checked, and the span inside of it, this here, make a line through and set opacity. You see, I only set opacity of the label and not of the checkbox. So I mean, you can do it before with if you do it the label after the checkbox and all these kind of tricks. What we have done before, but it's so much easier just to have this state machine for JavaScript, for CSS. And if you're looking at CodePen or some libraries and searching for a few examples, what is possible with that is just crazy. Like carousels and all this crazy stuff. It's just easy. So, CSS has states now. Next one. Scroll-driven animations. I mean, I love animations. You love animations, in case you don't know it, because who like to watch a movie of you sometimes, just to relax? Pixar movie, perhaps. You see, you love animation. So, that's the proof. And animation can improve the experience of your website because you tell the user what's going on. If you put a product and you put it in your basket and it makes bling, I said, it's inside. It's like in a shopping center. I put something in my basket, it makes dong or a sound, and I know it's arrived there. It's everything good. And this is just a very simple example. I mean, you can do anything with that. But for example, you know how long I have to scroll? I fade it in when it comes inside of it. I mean, I can turn it, some 3D effects, everything. But it just works. And there's not one single line of JavaScript for that. Because there's no need to. It's really nice. No scroll listener. They're very expensive. No request animation frame loop. No observer. I mean, it's really awesome that we have this kind of things, but we can use it for other things and not for that. And I mean, these few lines of code, I mean, I know some people who say, yes, CSS is not even a programming language. Yeah, exactly these people can't write CSS. So, I mean, I love it because I can do really amazing stuff. I can change stuff, and it's awesome. And now we have functions, so per definition, it is perhaps one. View Transition API. Do you know this? Do you hear of that? If not, go to my website, go from dark mode to light mode, and you see an animation like that. Here in this presentation tool, I can't do it like that exactly. You see, with JavaScript, I can't do it, but with normal pages, you just can do it. And with this line of code here, you can say, just throw it in, and you get a slightly fading transition between the pages. No more flickering, you can set the duration, and you can say yes, if the user prefer no animation, you can set it shorter. But it's very nice feeling. And you can even have some waves. You have some cubes when turning, if you change from light mode to dark mode, all this kind of stuff. You can do crazy stuff. It's all possible without any JavaScript. So, what's happened? A few years ago, CSS was just color things up, making some margins, some padding, some sizes. Then we came with responsive stuff. But now, it's getting like an application layer of your site, or of your tool. You have state, you have layout, you have color, you have animation, just built in the browser. And one tip, if something is in the browser, use it, because you don't have to write it, you don't have to test it, and you don't even have to ship it. So make the global green again by that. And it's also so much faster. Of course it's fast, because it's on the core on the browser. So we have has the reactive state. With container, we have the layout logic. With color mix and all this stuff and these color functions, you have color systems built right in. Timelines with scroll. You can do crazy stuff. So CSS is no longer just styling. But I have to say, this talk, it's about the browser, and yeah, you're making another CSS talk. No, finally we're coming some JavaScript, where there's also something happened. But I have to say, for me, JavaScript, in the big picture, it's already, it's done. You have about how many types of looping over an array? You can do it 5 different types. You have for each, then you have map, then you have filter, you have reduce, you have for, let, in, off, so many types of looping. So basically it's finished, but it's getting some sprinkles here and there, and it's really nice. And one thing is really exciting about is the navigation API. Does anybody hear of that? One. Gerhard, great. Do you remember history, replace state, push state, all this pain in the ass, and then it doesn't work if you use the back, you have to add event listener, and it's just a pain in the ass, really. And you get huge wrapper out there around these, and every browser thinks he have to do it differently, just in the old days. Now we have just one single entry point. Navigation, add event listener, navigate. That's it. And you can do with that everything you can do with that. So before, you have to handle the click. You have push the state, pop state, manual focus, scrolling. You have to do all for your own. Now, you have the new primitive. You can use navigation. You have the centralized logic with the event intercept. You can do everything you want. So your browser is finally able to become the router. It's great if you have some tools where you change all this stuff, or For example, you make a website in Neos for a podcast and you want to play the podcast along and the user can interact with the page. It's possible with that now. I tried it before. It was a pain in the ass and it didn't work very well. So I just say, I think I have to wait till this is finally here. Now, I think in the summer I will finish this project. And if you combine this now, if you combine now the view transitions and the navigation, you can have a page-based website like Neos produces. And get the user the feeling of just visiting an app, more appier, snappier feeling. You have transitions. You click on the teaser, and the teaser gets bigger. The image gets bigger, and the page has exactly that layout. Just so the user knows from the app. It's really nice. So you have an app-like navigation with all the app thing. So your browser is becoming the router. So you may ask where JavaScript is. Should I stop using it? No, not of course. You have JavaScript for the logic, for the application logic, data fetching, complex states. Of course, use JavaScript for some business logic. All this kind of stuff in the front end, use it. But use the browser for these UI primitives, for these layout decisions, for these interaction mechanics. Just use it because it's faster and you don't have to write it anymore. So, short, the JavaScript orchestrates all this stuff and the browser executes. And you have to orchestrate less. You don't have to care about all this thing anymore. So, how you get to the point? Don't run home and, now I change everything with one commit. No, please not. One step and after other, you can, since long time you can use containers, since years, dialog has. I even use this dialog mechanism in React editors for Neos because it's, yes, we have an API for this window, but it's just easier and faster. It's 3 lines of code instead of importing hundreds of components where I don't know and didn't write, and it's just easier, for me at least. You can enhance your website with this scroll, with anchor and pop over, and start evaluating the transitions. You can use it since long, but this navigation stuff and try to play with it and improve your website. Just go step by step. So you can have your strategy. Start with low-risk primitives, where nothing much can happen. Enhance the new API. Measure your code you can delete. It's great. You can have at GitHub for if you deleted that much of code and now it's that faster. It's really nice. You can do it like that, stuff like that. And then document the new default. As you said, now in our company or in our setup, we are going to use this new stuff. So, how could your path to refactor this stuff could look like? Sometimes you have to rewrite things, okay, but this kind of thing, it's really nice. You just can take the path, look at it, replace it, measure it, and then you can scale it. And one thing after another, not all at once. For example, replace all drop-downs with popover. And then you go to the next modal, next drop-down, next component, and your code base gets cleaner and cleaner, and you have to ship less and less and less code. Yes, the browser grew up. And we did not notice it. Framework filled the gaps, but some of these gaps are gone. And the mindset shift I want to encourage you to do is not the question, what library do I need for this? The question is, can a browser do this? Use the platform first you're on, and that's the browser. And this abstraction you can put later on. Because one important thing is the fastest JavaScript is the JavaScript you never shipped, because it's built in. And I mean, yes, now it's my time to talk about AI, right? Because everybody talks about AI, and as I thought, I mean, you can ask about AI, about the stuff, but it doesn't know it. Because nobody use it. Not much use it. So read the documentation, read the browser releases, or there are some awesome podcasts. If you're a German speaker, Working Draft, I really recommend it. It's really nice. I mean, you don't have to listen every talk, but there are some really nice talks where they go about browser news roundup. There you get the stuff. And I made this test before. I said, please make me a modal where I can open and close it without a line of JavaScript. It was a few weeks ago, perhaps now it can do it, but AI gave me a code back and said, no, this line of code, it's necessary. You can't do it without JavaScript. And I said, no, it's not it's possible. Look, it's like that. And then it's, oh, yes, you're right, you can do it like that. You know this, but the point is, sometimes you get these really nice features, and AI doesn't know it, and so nobody uses it. Another source is Kevin Powell. I think he's Canadian YouTuber. He makes some short clips, 1-2 minutes. You can eat your carrot or smoke your cigarette, depends on what you're doing, and watch a short about some new CSS layout patterns or some anchor crazy stuff and all this stuff. And now my laptop died, but it's not that hard, because I meant to finish. Thank you so much. That means merci vielmals. I'm from Switzerland. It's always my last slide. Yes, thank you. It's gift time.
Thank you very much, Jon, for the intriguing insights into the capabilities of our modern browsers.
You're welcome.
Awesome. And you already know the questions that will come, right?
Of course.
When is that available in the browsers?
Yesterday. Use it.
And what about Firefox and Safari?
Okay, I mean, Safari is not the Internet Explorer anymore. They have put a lot of effort, especially in the CSS space. Really, Rachel, who is one of the leading forces in CSS, is working at Apple. Apple pays her to bring it forward. So I think it's great. Firefox sometimes, because they don't have the power to evolve that fast, Sometimes it's behind all the stuff, but Anchor is now landed in Firefox. View Transition is landed in Firefox. Safari also since years. So you just can use it, and that's great. And every year, the browser sitting together and say on what we want to work together now, what we want to ship this year to be in the browser that everybody can use it. So they talking together and say, okay, this is the goal for this year. And so every year we get new features we can actually use, and not Chrome is the first and 10 years later coming the others. They're talking together and said, this year we want to ship it, and then it's going to ship. And I think that's a really great thing what's happened. And yes.
So that all of us have a great experience online and can.
Yeah, and you have less to code.
All right, there is a question. You showed the color example. How does relative font color work on top of relative background color?
Yeah, I mean, I can show it to you in an example, but short story long, you can do it with a little bit of calculation and color mix. You can just draw a color something and not say, I want the perfect color of this red, and then the browser can decide if it should be a dark red or the very light red or even white or black. Just some calculations. I can show it later if you want, this person who asked. I mean, I use it on my website like that, and it's really, really nice.
And the final question that I'm also very intrigued about, can we have Jon's slides again? Or actually, it's not slides, right? How are you doing those interactive demonstrations? Can you give us a little bit of insight?
It's HTML, right? So I mean, this is done with slide dev. I changed it before. Before I made it with Neos, but I have to change it because of the speaker notes.
No speaker notes in Neos?
No speaker notes, not yet, but before I had to make the slides in Neos, so it's also possible.
Awesome. So if you have more questions for Jon, approach him. Jon, for you as well, the present for the speakers. Thank you very much.
Even with my name on it, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're interested in getting such a cool bag next year, become a sponsor.
Yes.
And then very soon you can get a bag with your name on it as well. Thank you very much, Jon.
Thank you.
Don't forget to rate his talk in the app. And then next up here will be Andre talking about strongly typed PHP so that your types do the testing. And on the studio stage, we will have the next round of Neos and Action talks about the award nominees showcasing their projects. So see you again in 10 minutes. Thank you.